Online. Okay, you gotta stop the video on the corner.
Want me to run up there?
So you gotta get rid of the PowerPoint, exit out. Okay, then maximize the zoom. The green arrow down in the bottom corner. Okay.
I'll run up there.
The view adjust.
Yeah.
Well, good morning, everybody. Hi to everybody on Zoom. Once again, it's Mother's Day. So everybody in the sanctuary is getting a look at who's online. So later on, we will show the people online, all of you. There's fair. So I can remember Mother's Day so vividly last year. Wow. Getting used to all the technology and all of that. It was quite the thing. I remember I was so stressed. But here we are a year later. And who doesn't need their mother after this year? And who doesn't need to be embraced by the Divine Mother? So as we gather this morning, we think of obviously the mothers who gave birth to us, for those who have adopted mothers, surrogate mothers, or someone in your life who you consider to be more of a mother. We bring all of those people to mind. And we drop into that place of the Divine Mother, who, of course, all of these people are symbolic or channels of the Divine Love. So it looks like I'm on fire this morning on Zoom. I've got flames coming out of my shoulder. So the Spirit is with me. Okay, so we start this morning, as always, by lighting the Christ candle. And in the beginning was the one presence of the undivided and unmanifest, pure Spirit of life, light, and love. In its generosity, it shared itself, its consciousness, and its love in visible form, the visible form of creation. And we acknowledge this presence within us and as us, this creative energy of the divine feminine and divine masculine, expressing in all our giftedness and our creativity. And we acknowledge this presence in our companion Mother Earth and in all sentient beings. This universal presence in everything we call Christ. And so we light our candle as a visible reminder of the Christ presence, expressing in us, as us, and through us in this now moment. And as we say, it is the truth. Let us learn it. And so, as a treat for Mother's Day, I picked out an opening song from StoweGood, and you can go online and search this, and it's a song that was created for a mother, and they tell the story of how they composed it and all of that. So, without further ado, we have StoweGood with Wrap Me Up. I think that's the name of it. Wrap You Up. Okay, My assistant, Leslie, is going to change
Mhm.
the USB sound.
Mhm.
We still have some technical challenges, so
What he's doing there, I'll just fill in the blank space. We're almost there. Here we go with Wrap Me Up.
There we go.
The song was written for a woman who is
Happy Mother's Day. I'm Stowe Daly.
And I'm Karen Taylor Good.
Together, we are StoweGood. And whether you had or have an amazing mother,
Or even if you didn't and you don't, either way, this song is for you.
we hope you feel wrapped up in love today.
Okay.
Love the lawnmower.
Should we do it with the lawnmower?
Let's do.
Okay.
My mother was a quilter, a poet and a sage. She wrote her life in fabric instead of on a page. She wrapped my life in wonder. Her love made me whole. Here's the prayer with every stitch she wove into my soul. Let your mother wrap you up in love. Know that you are always taken care of. All is perfect and complete when you laugh, love, and believe. Let your mother wrap you up in love. She'd hold me in her arms and say, I'm not your only one. You have other mothers in the stars, the moon and sun. The trees, the air, the rivers, they've been your gifts since birth. Take care of them forever. You'll be held by Mother Earth. Let your mother wrap you up in love. Know that you are always taken care of. All is perfect and complete when you laugh, love, and believe. Let your mother wrap you up in love. Somehow she left her heart in every quilt she made. When this you see, remember me, drawn in her special way. She said, when I leave this earth, don't grieve me when I'm gone. I'll be joining up with angels and your Father, Mother, God. Let your mother wrap you up in love. Know that you are always taken care of. All is perfect and complete when you laugh, love, and believe. Let your mother wrap you up
The lawnmower's in the wrong key.
This video is for mature audiences only.
No.
Yes, because all of you young people already understand how YouTube works. But
Okay. Yeah, I did that.
That was beautiful, wasn't it? I just love their energy. It's so genuine. So I wanted to start with something inspirational, and I thought, Mother's Day, who am I going to get a poem or something like that? And Irma Weinbeck popped into my head, and I Googled it. There it was. So thank you, Spirit. So here's something that she wrote. It's about the creation of mothers. And if you remember it, I'm sure it's like 30 years old. But it's not exactly. It says, when the good Lord was creating mothers, he was into his 6th day of overtime. When the angel appeared and said, you're doing a lot of fiddling around on this one. And God said, have you read the specs on this organ? She has to be completely washable, but not plastic. Have 180 movable parts, all replaceable. Run on black coffee and leftovers. Have a lap that disappears when she stands up. Not sure what that means. Anyway. A kiss that can cure anything from a broken leg to a disappointed love affair. And 6 pairs of hands. The angel shook her head slowly and said, 6 pairs of hands? No way. It's not the hands that are causing me problems, God remarked. It's the 3 pairs of eyes that mothers have to have. That's on the standard model? Asked the angel. God nodded. 1 pair that sees through closed doors when she asks, what are you kids doing in there? When she already knows. Another here in the back of her head that sees what she shouldn't, but what she has to know. And of course, the ones here in front that can look at a child when he or she goofs up and say, I understand and I love you, without so much as uttering a word. God, said the angel, touching his sleeve gently, get some rest tomorrow. I can't, said God. I'm so close to creating something so close to myself. Already, I have one who heals herself when she's sick, can feed a family of 6 with a pound of hamburger, and can get a 9-year-old to stand still under a shower. The angel circled the model of the mother very slowly. It's too soft, she sighed. But tough, said God excitedly. You can imagine what this mother can do or endure. Can it think? Not only can it think, but it can reason and compromise, said the Creator. Finally, the angel bent over and ran her fingers across his cheek. There's a leak, she commented. I told you that you were trying too much with this model. It's not a leak, said God. It's a tear. What's it for? Asked the angel. It's for joy, for sadness, disappointment, pain, loneliness, and pride. You're a genius, said the angel. Somberly, God said, I didn't put it there. Good old Irma. Sure, in many ways, she was a mother to half this country, giving them, dispensing her heartfelt wisdom. in those comments. All right, so we turn in prayer at this time. And our service this morning is a little bit different only because we're juggling a lot with technology. So Leslie, if you could bring up the prayers, please. And you can be thinking in your mind of all the mothers that you want to pray for. Because I have to be so careful how I say that. Okay, so we have our list for today. Once again, we turn inward to the heart of the mother who cares for each one of us with such a powerful, tender love. And we pray for Aidan Tousley, Sandy Reether, Anita Flanagan, Angela Luan, Marna McManna, Keith Malley, Geraldine Woods, Margaret Barrett, Josh Coleman, Bill Sloan, Fred Hines, Melody Jewell, Leslie's sister-in-law, who's on hospice, for Trevor Kozrus, for Irene Healy, for Sean Bartlett, Joan Oliver, Barbara McCarthy, Will McBride, Bill Strobin, Tess, Dale and Judy Harder, for Tim Bentley, Barbara O'Connor, Norma Kipnis, Christy Susan, for all those still being targeted by hate crimes and recent shooting victims again, for an end to the senseless gun violence in America, for a unity for the United States. And we pray for the people of India, especially this morning. So we hold all of these people and all of the people that we want to pray for in that energy of motherly love and care. And we summarize our prayers. Unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, the many ways of worshiping God. For we know that there is but one presence and one power, that is God, and that God loves us all with a motherly equal love. And so it is. And our daily word for today is motherly love. I give thanks for motherly love. God's perfect love, expressing through our mothers, gave us life. God's love, wisdom, and strength guided them and all those later in life who nurtured us as we grew. Our words of praise and gratitude let us show our mother how much we appreciate her. When I wish to demonstrate my appreciation for my mother's example, I share the nurturing motherly love of God in my words and actions with all people. Remembering the times when my mother or another compassionate person listened patiently and shared encouraging words with me. I seek to be a caring, supportive presence, recalling my mother's joy each time I learn something new. I share my skills and knowledge willingly with someone when someone seeks my help. In gratitude, I share the gift of nurturing love in return. I give thanks for motherly love. So at this time, I invite us to enter into time of meditation. If you would like to close your eyes, please feel free. You just take a very deep breath. Hold it for a second. Exhale. Let's take 2 more cleansing breaths. It helps us to get in touch with the matter, our physicality. And matter and nature, mother, have the same root word. We come from the earth, and of course the earth comes from the stars, and it all comes from this creator God, the mother, father God that birthed it all. So in our heart space, I invite us to become aware of the flow of creative energy that manifests as our physical bodies, as our emotional energy, mental energy, spiritual energy. Extending out into the aura around our body. We let the Divine Mother touch us in all of these bodies. We can imagine ourselves within the womb of the Mother God, Divine Mother. Everything that we see and hear, taste, touch, smell, experience, all of it is happening within the energy of the Mother. We are being nourished and fed and held and embraced, cared for. Nothing can be experienced outside of the womb of this Mother. So we feel ourselves perhaps relax, feel more safe and secure. Perhaps we can feel or sense the heartbeat of the Mother, echoing in our own hearts. If you're able to hear your own heartbeat for a moment, just recognize that it is the heartbeat of the universe and our Divine Mother. And so we come into alignment with the heartbeat. We can trust this life. We can trust the outcome of this life. And indeed, we can trust the past. Mother knows it all. And Mother knows what is best. And so if we have a question or a worry, a problem or care or concern, we can visualize ourselves aligned with the heartbeat of the divine. We can ask for help or an answer. Then we simply receive. We open those hearts even more to allow the energy of the answer and of love to fill us even to overflowing. You can feel perhaps the energy bubbling up from the heart space, up through the crown chakra, out into the universe of love. We simply float there, knowing that we are indeed floating in the womb of the universe, safe, secure, and held. And we can expand our sense of who we are and what we are. We are the beloved of the divine, in union with all beloveds of the divine. So peaceful, so restful, so nourishing in this place of wellness. Thank you, Mother God. So my talk today is going to be a little different than usual. I have some introductory remarks, but then we're going to go back to StoweGood for another sharing about a song that she wrote here, and then they'll sing it. So of course, today is a day for us to remember our moms, living, deceased. Some of you are fortunate to be getting up there yourself and have your mom sitting next to you and looking at your mom. My mom died in 1998, just as I was about to turn 40. So that was a very auspicious time for me. Her passing was definitely a turning point in my life, and of course, turning 40, there's a lot going on there too. I suppose you could say it had to do maybe with growing up, because of course, you feel you're an orphan almost in some ways, when your mom passes. There was something secure about having your mother living. Even if she wasn't present, I was living, in Hawaii, halfway around the world, but, I knew she was there, over there in Ireland. And if I needed to or had to, I could call or I could go and visit. And perhaps you can identify with that sense of comfort that it brings us to know that we have a mother. And I have to say that it sort of came to me as I was writing this, I was thinking of George Floyd. when the policeman was kneeling on his neck, he was struggling, he called out for his mother. So it doesn't matter what age we are. There is that instinctual thing within us to call out for mom. And I look at people in their 70s who still have their mom alive. Not giving away anybody's age, maybe they're not 70. Sandy and Dennis. I know Dennis's mom is 93, yours is 95. And I just marvel at that. Like, I can't imagine what it must be like to have lived your whole life to that age and to still have your mother. That's amazing to me. And it's interesting how for most of us, we start out so tied to their apron strings. I was thinking that you have to update that, Jerry. You have to say, you know, that they're glued to her iPhone or her iPad or something. Aprons. You don't see too many people with aprons anymore. And you know, we were so convinced, weren't we, that we would die, you know, if anything happened to them. And from time to time, you see a child in the store and it somehow is turned around and the mother isn't there, and it just loses it. You know, that sense of attachment. And then, of course, we grow up, don't we, and we go off about our own lives, and we hardly even maybe think of them from week to week, and don't visit, or we can't visit around the world. And you know, that's a real clue right there to, in a sense, the untruths that we tell ourselves about who we are, and the denial of our spiritual nature, and how strong that is. You know, we are more than capable of living our lives without our mothers, but our preference might be to live with them and have them available to us. A security blanket of sorts. But at some point, the blanket is taken away, and we must stand on our own 2 feet. And often that's about standing on our human feet initially, and then it's a matter of standing on our spiritual feet. We grow and evolve into understanding, but we're a spiritual being. And our mothers were just there as placeholders, if you will, to help us to evolve. This was brought home to me in my relationship with my mom when she was, you could say, taken from me before she died. As I said, she died in 1998, and sometime around 1992, I was still living in Hawaii. She developed dementia. And I can still remember the day that I called home, and as usual, my dad answered the phone, and we would have our conversation, and then it would be time for Mom to get on the phone. And so Dad put the phone down, and he came back and says, I can't find her, she must be out in the garden. Bye. I thought, what? This is her favorite child. This is her baby. 8 years younger than 7 siblings. And I thought, okay, something isn't right here. So my sister lives next door. So I called my sister. I said, what's going on? Well, she said there's been some issues. And I wasn't remembering things so necessarily, you know. So I was like devastated. I remember putting the phone down and I was like bereft. It was like, oh my God, I lost my mother. And any of you who have dealt with someone with dementia, you know that that's really challenging. They're with you, they're not with you. And so you have to learn to be with them in a different way. But isn't that also good? Because you're not just relating to them as the human being that they were. Now you have to find another relationship. And it kind of opens up the door for understanding that they too are spiritual beings. You know, my mother is not really my mother. She's a spiritual being. She's divine. And so that experience, of course, opened up lots of questions about personhood. And where was she? Where did the mom I know go to? The personality that was so unique to her, so gentle and so kind. And what was the nature of her relationship now with God? And what was it all about to live this life and then to start to not be there, but still be in the body? And there were times when I felt that dementia was the cruelest of it all. And I wasn't too happy with God. I had a few words with him about that. But I really didn't have any answers. And so when she was dying, at the end of 97, I spent several weeks with her. And the strange thing was that right before she died, she came back. Her personality came back. Her smile, her laugh. And not always, but it was there, and she would know me most of the time. And that felt really reassuring to me. It brought me a lot of comfort. It was as if my questions about dementia and the relationship of where the person was and their relationship, and all of that sort of got resolved, because she wasn't lost in some fog or had disappeared or was wiped out by some weird disease. It was more like she'd been taking a rest or was kind of hiding out maybe. Perhaps she was tired of the challenge of life. You know, she'd had 7 kids almost year after year, and then 8 years later. And a lot of challenges with the other 7, of course. Maybe she just wanted to take it easy, take a break. Maybe the burdens of life had become too heavy for her, and she just needed to let them go. And so I came across this lovely video and song by Karen Good of StoweGood, who talks about her own mom having dementia and how she composed the song then about that experience. So I want to share that with you now. Enjoy.
So this is a song about my mama, the amazing Molly Burke. I wish you had known my mama.
Me too.
I wish you had known my mama. There's a few things you need to know about her. First of all, she was a Leo.
Do we have any Leos out there?
Yes, look at Well, I'm also married to one, and you all know how you are. Big personalities, and she was like that. Also, she belonged to Mensa, the Society for Genius IQ People, and she was very smart, and she was very proud of her smarts. The other thing, she was an artist, a really fine artist. She made pottery and paintings and jewelry. If you'll notice this ring I've been flashing,
Yes.
she made this ring, which I cannot play the piano. It's such a honking ring, I think. So she ended up, this amazing force of a woman, she ended up legally blind from macular degeneration, so no more art. And she ended up living in a dementia care unit. Oh, I have to tell you, if I think about it, I'm going to lose it. And here I had all these 30 plus years of spiritual teachings where it has been proven to me over and over again, really, that everything happens for a reason. And not only that, that there is perfection in everything. But I'm telling you, I could not find the perfection in what was happening with my mama. It just seemed mean and pointless, and I went to some pretty dark places and was railing at God, saying, you know, what is this? This just sucks. The good news is I didn't stay there long because I thought about these principles. But I said, okay, if there is indeed perfection in this, you have got to show it to me. And wouldn't you know, that's exactly what happened. Now, I want to acknowledge our sweet friend, Jason Bloom.
Yeah,
It's because you weren't around yet.
that's right.
And Jason listened to me through half a box of tissues. And this is what we came up with. And Stowe and I love to do this song in concert because there is always at least one person, and usually more, who's going through the very same thing. So if you are too, we hope this song brings you a great deal of comfort. This is the woman who had all the answers, the one I would lean on for comfort, for strength. She's never forgotten one grandchild's birthday. Now she can't remember my name, and it makes me so angry. I shake my fist and cry out to the heavenly one. Why would you play such a cold-hearted trick? I thought your job was to love. And the answer came down from above. She's gonna fly when her time here is through. First she'll have to let go of some things she can't use. 'Cause people and places, memories and faces are just way too heavy, it seems, to carry on angels' wings. This is the woman who saw things so clearly, the one who could pick out one crumb on the floor. She saw through a white lie, saw me through love's eyes. She hardly can see anymore, and it makes me so sad, and it just isn't fair. Why should so much be taken away? But when I cry out for all that she's lost, I silently hear someone say, she's gonna fly when her time here is through. First she'll have to let go are going through a difficult time with one of your parents now, if you have become the parent and they the child, if they are not who they were, and you find yourself confused, stressed, and angry, I understand. I know this is not easy, and it's all right, and it's perfect. Breathe, cry, go to a ridiculous movie, find a support group, consume moderate amounts of chocolate, and take good care of yourself. My heart is with you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I do this myself. But that's my mom. She was all about 5'2", but was truly a spiritual powerhouse. I know her prayers were really powerful, and very loving, very kind. Soul to the earth, loving mom. So, enough of that. Moving on. So we have our power words for the month of May. You want to recite them along with me?
The power of my thoughts and words moves me ever closer to the truth of my being.
So, of course, we always have a time of affirming our prosperity. We thank you for your gifts to us, supporting us here at Unity in the Go Country throughout this past year especially. And we have our love offering. If you blink, you'll miss it. We do have a basket at the back and at the front, so at the end of the service, you can always drop something in there if you'd like. And so let us say our love offering together.
I give in love because I love to give.
Because let that resonate throughout ourselves. All right. So we have our announcements for today. Oh, we have a song. Oh,
Okay.
you know what? Let's not.
Okay. Okay.
We have designated this year of 2021 as a year of renewal, transformation, awakening, healing, and wonder. So I hope that you're being inspired by the beauty of nature right now, that you're feeling the wonder of it all. This Tuesday, we continue with the spiritual exploration group, and it will be led by David Kyle, the author. So if you want to join on Tuesday especially, I would really encourage you to. We're starting into the next section, the 5 stones of daily living. And it's still not too late to join in. This is an amazing book. The practices are incredible. So feel free to join us at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. Thank you, David, for putting that for me. And we are having a work day. I guess it's this Wednesday.
Yes.
From 9 to noon. So if you want to come and spruce up the grounds, please do. It would be nice and cool in the morning, and join some of your fellow congregants as we clean up the grounds. We also need some assistance with the library, so anybody who would like to volunteer, please let Leslie know. We have about 3 people interested in the men's group. We'd love to get some more guys who might be interested in that. So again, let Leslie know, 274-2463.
2 for this, because I want to kind of coordinate.
Oh, and Leslie says if you are joining us for the workday on Wednesday, also call her just to let her know. She wants to know everything.
I'm so bossy.
A reminder that the Unity Convention that happens every year is online this year. So, no hotel expenses, no meal expenses, airfare, all of that, just a registration fee. So I would encourage you, if you can, think about that. It's June 14th to the 17th. Okay. And then a reminder that Frank Castor-Weir is being ordained on June 14th at 2 p.m. It's viewable on Zoom. If you're a good friend of his and would like to be actually present, again, just call Leslie. This is a big deal. Like, there's very few Unity churches that actually produce ministers, and this is the second ordination for Unity in the Gold Country. So we're special. We know it. And Frank will be a wonderful minister.
And are we going to be providing that information? Okay, thank you.
No, we're just going to let them guess. If they come up with the right numbers, they can find it on Zoom. All right, so we have our closing song, as always, I Choose Love.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us, that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace in my family is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one loving family, sharing one son. I choose love. Yes, I do. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one choice unites us. Let this be the one. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love.
So we have our closing unity prayer as always. Thank you all for present in the sanctuary or being present on Zoom. And I hope that you have fond memories of a loving, motherly presence in your life today. So we pray. The light of
God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God.
Wherever we are,
God is, because I am, and all is well.
Make a great day.
Yay!